Test, test. Hello. Okay. It should be top 8. Yes. Okay, hello everyone. This is the top 8 match. First of the day. Waiting for the players to be ready to play. We are waiting for the players to see if they want to warm up. And by the looks of it, we have Seed 1 versus Seed 4. A pretty big TR difference, but if you look at the stats, this is still winnable for Limit, in my opinion. We will see how it goes. And we have chosen not to do a warm-up, and this is the first game. Good luck to both players. Sam and Jay with the PCO. Already building back-to-back Limit with an unfortunate misdrop. Both players misdropping, but Summer still has the back-to-back surge and break and kill. Limit trying to go for the spin, has to downstack instead. Summer getting a bit greedy with the fractal, but breaks and counterattacks. Limit with just enough back-to-back cancels some of the garbage, left with a lot of clean. And this is a pretty even board state, but Summer going for the T-spin tower, very risky, but with the speed to pull it off. And Limit is defending extremely well right now. Getting a bit of cheese, but Summer again with the back-to-back. Very relentless in the attack, and Limit caught with T-spins. Just enough T-spins to skim, but the eye misdrop will seal the deal. Summer pulling up all the openers right now. Limit going for PCL, looking for a third PC, doesn't get it. Summer having to defend Limit's surge break. And Limit going at 4.5 DPS, definitely pushing the speed, seeing what works here. With the 4 wide into T-spin compromise. Summer having to break back to back early. Seems to be caught off guard, and that is a point to Limit. We see Fairy Cannon on the board now. So far, Limit has been able to defend most of Summer's back-to-back attacks, but we really don't want to see that number go too high. As I say that, SNC spins on the board, surge break, and Limit is just caught off guard again. Again, we see the speed disparity. Summer going as fast as full DPS, while Limit just seeing how they can counter such immense speed and letting Summer break. misdropping at the same time. So we're back to an even board state. And as I say that, Summer again building up a back-to-back. We're setting up everything they can to get a break out of that. Summer eventually breaks, but again the misdrop. And that is another point to Summer. TKI from Limit. Now it's Summer going a bit slower than usual. But Limit again for misdrops, and I don't think they can survive this one. Oh. Okay, early misdrop from Summer. We'll see if Limit can capitalize. It's about equal right now. Limit covering the well, going for as many setups as they can. And they live to fight another day. Again, Limit pushing speed, but Summer building up back-to-back of their own. Breaks it early, but Limit does not break. And finally, a successful counterattack, and it is back to 5-2. Limit might have found a counter to Summer, but we'll see if Summer can respond accordingly. Maybe speed really is the way? It seems to be. Summer a bit caught off guard. Summer almost PC. And we see again Limit just striding away the back-to-back. Ooh. Early break, and Summer is cheesed up, but so is Limit, except they get the cheese and the STSD is too much pressure. And Limit is bringing it back. Again with the misdrop. Okay, Summer back with the back-to-back advantage. You see that this is usually how Summer wins. So we'll see if Limit can counter easily. Okay, a break happens and Limit comes out on top, I would say. With a lot of clean, sends the surge and then the counter attack to follow up. And Summer is cheesed to the top. And because this is first to 11, it could still go either way. We'll see which player adapts more. Limit striding out. 5.5 PPS LST. Okay, Limit. Limit seems to be cheesed up right now, but as I say that, they are making their way down, and Summer isn't able to capitalize. Ooh. for the technical difficulty there. Okay, and in the time that I was gone, it seems that Summer has found their footing. I saw a bit of center forward, cheesing up Limit. That might be the way to go, given Summer's speed advantage in general, but Limit getting the PC and cancelling all of forward. Both players now just going as fast as humanly possible. Seeing who can churn out as much APP as possible, and again, Limit maybe having found their speed limit. How can Limit possibly bring this back? Summer again going for the 4 wide and having a very nice cheese sequence. Limit with a misdrop and thankfully avoiding getting cheesed. Setting up the fractal. Again going with their speedy approach. Seems to be working. Score 9-6. Summer deviating from the 4 wide now. Both players again going extremely fast. That seems to be how they're trying to beat each other now. And again, we saw Limit adapt earlier in the match, bringing it back to 5-all, but now with 1 point to match point, we'll see if they can adapt at all. C4 wide on the board, can they counter it one more time? The cheese is on the board. Looking like Summer misdrop, giving another chance to Limit. And Summer again so strong with that back-to-back. When they get the momentum, they just keep going. And Limit misdropping, and that is game. What a way to start off top 8. GG's to both players. And if I'm correct, we're going straight into our next match. And yeah, if this is just the first match of top 8, you can expect the next few matches to be just as action-packed. It looks like our next match is Aya versus Toro. I don't know how to pronounce it. We will see when both players make it into the room for the next match. Seed 2 versus Seed 3. Seeing if both players want a warm-up. Looks like we will eventually be going ahead with the warm-up. We see teams spins both sides. Oh well. Not getting the surge break off. Crashing at the top of the board, and that was a pretty quick warm-up. Both players ready now. It was Haya that wanted for warm-up, but in the end they won warm-up, so we'll see how this match turns out. Good luck, has fun to both players. TD from Torowo, TKI from Pinkie Pie. Both players a bit slower than their usual speed right now. Seems like Pinkie Pie holds on to the surge. A lot of clean, and that's a 31 spike. Enough to top out Torowo. NS2 versus, I believe, PCL. Ooh, Torowo catching Haya off guard with that spike. Not ready to receive. Now, Haya adapting with a TD of their own. Well, Pinkie Pie going for a few skins here to fix their missed drops, giving Torowo an opportunity to build up their back-to-back. Very nice prophecy through the garbage, and they decide to break. And that was a good decision because Pinkie Pie just caught off guard. Game of stalling here. In my opinion, I think anyone who sends here, not too bad of a disadvantage. Maybe these players think otherwise. Doing everything in their power to delay their attack. Haya holds. It looks like Torowo will be the first one to send their attack. We'll see how that plays out from there. And the garbage gets blocked on Pinkie Pie's side. Having to break back to back to access their garbage. And in the end, it is Torowo that comes on top. Change. Pinkie Pie going for a few spins before breaking their back-to-back. But Torowo defends successfully. Now it's actually Haya that breaks first, but not enough to break Torobos back-to-back. Who's now going for an Imp Cross. Trying to count to 4, going for even more spins. Still counting to 4, still making spins, and not enough to top out Haya. This is relatively even from both players. Pinkie Pie choosing to keep their surge, going for more and more back-to-back. Finally breaking into fence, and Torowo possibly caught off guard, but gets the T just in time. Now, Haya's extremely cheesed up, and they can definitely opt out if they don't down stack in time. Pinkie Pie. Okay, Haya sending the T-spin single to start off this time, seeing if they can change their strategy in the opener. Breaking surge early, but now they have the garbage on their board. An unfortunate misdrop. And it's going to be pretty hard to clean this up in time. Especially with Torowo's back-to-back chain and back-to-back attacks. They're kind of running away with it now. Trying to go for a speedy TD opener, misdropping it. Down stacking successfully. We will see how they respond to the back-to-back deficit. Oh. Just seems like Torowo overpowered Haya. And very nice garbage from the TD. We'll see how they capitalize. A bit of mech heart action over here. And another TST, but Pinkie Pie ready to counter-attack and misdropping at the worst possible time. They finally get another point. And there's no reason to stop doing MS2 now. It's worked that many times before. But Pinkie Pie may be learning how to catch Torowo off guard. 6-3 now. No score battles here. Pinkie Pie going for the double PC. Getting back-to-back out of it. Maintaining the back-to-back even though Torowo breaks it. Now with both reversed, it seems like Torowo is building quite a huge setup. Trying to see how much it takes to kill Haya. Breaking quite prematurely. It's about even now. Pinkie Pie skimming until they get the count to 4. Having access to their well again. And breaking early again to see if Torowo has the T's in time. They have to pin down one of their T-spins. Not too much damage. As I say that, Haya trying to go for LST. Even with a few misdrops, they get quite a lot of cheese off. But now both players have a lot of cheese on their board, and it's about who can downstack faster. Seems like Torowo misdropping the eyepiece won't help them go down any faster. But they do manage to live. Now all the pressure is on Pinkie Pie. expecting if they survive this, with a back-to-back deficit and at the top of their board, they get to the clean, and it seems like they can defend successfully. Even with the Fractal. Oh, that misdrop though. Both players breaking Surge, but it's just Torowo with more firepower that gets the win. Pinkie Pie going for STPC now. Not a common meta in Season 2. If you say so myself. Torowo, a bit of cheese on their board, so they decide to break their back-to-back. And Pinkie Pie catching them off guard. That is a nasty spike, but Pinkie Pie lives it and gets all the clean, sends it back with interest, but Torowo with another back-to-back setup, and it's higher. TP from both sides now. Torowo having to break back-to-back to access the clean. Pinkie Pie doing the same, but blocking their well. I mean, that's expected when you're going this fast. Can't really think, you just have to do. Amazing T-spins from Pinkie Pie's side. That might be a T-spin tower they're setting up. Reduced to an all-spin. Skimming a bit to get to their garbage. And Torowo might be caught off guard by this spike. Just kidding, they send it all back in a counter-attack, but Pinkie Pie comes back while trying to keep back-to-back of their own. Torowo just building that back-to-back so effectively. Donations on T-spin triples. This is amazing, but as I say that, the misdrop, can they recover from this? Pinkie Pie breaking, seeing if they can catch them, and it looks like this will be a point too higher. Man. Thick spin now from Pinkie Pie, and a misdrop cannon from Torowo. Another misdrop, possibly into STSV, but they just are trying to survive. Nice T-spin sequence, but Pinkie Pie is unable to capitalize, just at the bottom of the board with no clean to send. Now it's Torowo that seems to be able to attack. And just like that, the tables are turned. One more to match point. T-spin, triple into double. So helpful for Torowo. This pairing. Pinkie Pie needs to change something if they want to bring this back. Or maybe Torowo just misdrops all their pieces and their T pieces. That's another way for Pinkie Pie to win. Again, the perfect garbage. How can Torowo make use of this? Oh, higher misdropping. Can they survive in time? I think they can. Insane survival from higher. But that was just the initial volley. Now they have to survive the 13 and counting back-to-back in their way. Misdrops definitely don't help this time. They are striding out 4.1 PPS, but will it be enough to counter? They send, and Pinkie Pie lives. But it's just relentless from Torowo. Already 6 back-to-back right after they broke. And we find ourselves at match point. Torowell, DPC, a bold move. Pinkie Pie Fractal, even more bold of a move. At the top of their board. But it seems to pay off. They survive. Not sure how much of an attack they have against Torowell. 31 spike. Seems to do nothing, honestly. Just sends a bunch of clean. Haya was ready for that one. Pinkie Pie. Breaking early to send a bit of cheese. It seems to pay off because Torowell makes a misdrop. But 11 back-to-back is just free clean, and Haya takes another round. Now, while we take this stall battle, I think that if Haya can get Torowell to make a mistake while being cheesed, they could possibly bring this back. It's going to be very tough. They have to defend all of Torowell's back-to-back attacks, but that would be no problem if they have back-to-back of their own, which they do seem to be building right now. Torowell having to get down to their well, skimming a bit, having no eyepiece in their queue, still managing to make most of it. Pinkie Pie misdropping and having no attack to capitalize. And yet again, Torowell seems to get the back-to-back an insane 37 spike, and that is game. Now we will see the top 8 bracket as Torowell moves on to face Summer. But before that, we will move on to losers bracket to see a few matches there. Next up, we have Never Say GG and Bar. Seeing if both players want a warm-up. Like we will not have a warm-up. We might go straight into first to 11 and begin our losers round 4 match. Good luck, have fun to both players. Seed 6 versus Seed 7. TKI on both sides. It's Never Say GG is the one that chooses to take LST. She breaks early, but if he misdrops, trying to spin their way out, inevitably they have to break back to back. Seems like they're trying to counter Ashibara's back-to-back attack. Ashibara is sort of waiting to find the best moment to break. In the end, they don't break, and first point to Ashibara. Again with the LST, but Ashibara seems to just be waiting to accept some clean, and appears to send it right back. With a bit of cheese as well. We'll see how Never Say GG deals with his cheese. be a few eye misdrops, and it does pay because caught with a fewer eye pieces than they want, but they still manage to cycle through. Fortunately, Ashibara just counter-spiking them. Another point to Ashibara. Seems like Ashibara's the one doing LST now. And Never Say GG, she misdrops. Unfortunately, this might be too much to 5. Ashibara with an early misdrop, it seems, fixing it with a nice all spin. Contemplating the counter 4. And both players just seeing, evaluating how they can win this. Never Say GG going for early cheese. But I think Ashibara is going to find a way to attack out of this. He managed to build up some back-to-back. Never Say GG with quite a fatal misdrop over their well, and very unfortunate. Few all spins from Never Say GG. And Ashibara misdropping the C spin. That is the first point to Never Say GG. Good combo down stack, good spins from Ashibara. Even though Ashibara is the one spinning, it's Never Say GG with the back-to-back. You will see when they break right now. This is a powerful attack, but Ashibara lives just in time with the eyepieces. We are back to relatively even. Never Say GG. Speeding up a tiny bit, seeing how big their killing attack can be. A few spins. They choose not to break yet, even though Ashibara is near the top of their board. The back-to-back getting even higher until Ashibara cannot downstack anymore. Clean, sends it back, and it magically transforms into cheese. But just like that, Never Say GG can downstack all of the cheese. Never Say GG trying to break Ashibara's back-to-back. They get cheesed up, and Never Say GG with the cheese, but they cannot capitalize on that attack. Although, both players having neutral board states right now. Ashibara not able to build up the back-to-back. It's Never Say GG with the back-to-back. Ooh. They seem to be in a tiny bit of trouble, nothing they can't handle, as long as they get the eyepiece in time. Bit of cheese, again. We're seeing this drops, so unable to counter again. Both players playing extremely safely, if I do say so myself. No one has been in immediate danger so far. This game might last even past 2 minutes 30 if no one sets up an extremely big attack. They're going less for spins, and I would say more for cleaner board states, waiting for a spike that can end the game immediately. As I say that, never say GG, stopping Ashibara's back-to-back chain, trying to make one of their own, it seems. Ashibara getting, suddenly, T-spins out of nowhere, and it seems to be a very heated position once again. Ashibara going for the fractal, into the S-spin, into the T-spin double, and Never Say GG suddenly is at a major back-to-back deficit, and using their eyepiece to downstack, that is game. 2-minute 30 match. Both players going for C-spins, we'll see. Ashibara tanking. Considering tanking the second one. And they are being so methodical with their garbage accepts. That is a huge spike. Unfortunate misdrop on the Say GG side. Both of them. Again, methodical tanking. Both plays around 2 PPS at the moment. Both with high back-to-back chains, but they both break basically at the same time. But Never Say GG with the auto board state. And I think one attack is enough to top them out. Both players going for stick base right now. Never Say GG going for PC version of Ashibara going for what seemed to be extended, getting that back-to-back extremely high, but they use it to cancel Never Say GG's downstack. Again, both players who's back-to-back, we'll see if both break at the same time, but Ashibara holds on. Now Never Say GG with the cheese. I think a break here would spell the end. Yet another round. Both players with the same C-spin opener. Never Say GG a bit quicker in pulling it off. The lucky garbage though, we'll see if that can decide the game, and it seems like the misdrop decides the game. Too much pressure from Ashibara. We have some Ashibara support in chat, but you know, it can never be too late to make a comeback. I say that Never Say GG misdropping a bit, still keeping the back-to-back for as long as they can, even doing an SPSD over the garbage, and they send, while Ashibara has no eyepiece in queue, and that is a quick round to Never Say GG. Like Never Say GG going as fast as they can. Kind of a last-ditch effort, one might say. Teasing a bit, and just continuing with the stride after getting through their cheese. Ashibara possibly countering with cheese of their own, seeing how they can stop Never Say GG's momentum. But that is, unfortunately for Ashibara, a lot of cheese that will be sent to their board. Ashibara possibly feeling the nerves as they misdrop TKI, making a very nice spin sequence out of it though. And just like that, both break back to back after Never Say GG misdrops. And these misdrops aren't very ideal, especially when it's match point right now. And Never Say GG possibly stride out a few more matches. Ashibara trying to go for the eye spin. Playing, both of them actually playing a bit slower than their previous few matches. But Never Say GG speeding up when they see their slight advantage. It's Ashibara with the clean. They don't get the full multiplier, but it's enough to send garbage to stop Never Say GG's momentum. Even when they get too clean on their board, it's Ashibara that has back-to-back but has to break it eventually. Ooh, this is a very nice board state for both players. Never Say GG breaks first, sending a bit of cheese. Now having access to their clean. Ashibara trying to downstack, but Never Say GG not able to capitalize. That spike is just a tiny bit too late. As I say that, Ashibara misdrops after getting an eyepiece. And they just barely live. Sending everything back to Never Say GG, but that is such a clean down stack. Never Say GG hanging in there. LST battle. Both players, I think, gunning for a high back-to-back, seeing if they can one-shot kill. Thinking very carefully about when they want to break. One misdrop here could determine this entire match. Ashibara going for the greedy C-spin, but it pays off. It's Never Say GG that breaks first, but Ashibara does not break in response until now. And that is GG's to both players. And Ashibara moves on to fight Limit. Before that we have PCO versus Cove Holden. Now, looking at the stats, both players have about the same speed. PCO just slightly more efficient. PCO getting their Dryden back-to-back off, and well, that's for warm-up. I'm sure that the next few matches won't be as short as that one. Good luck, have fun to both players. I'm sure we'll see a lot of STPC in this match. As I say that, we get Stick Spin and TKI. Not the openings I was expecting, but it does do the job because Cove Holden has so much cheese on their board, and the back-to-back face required just barely enough to survive the first bit, but PCO, Surge Break. Both players trying to be equal on back-to-back, but PCO stalls, trying to receive the clean garbage from Cove Holden's side before breaking early. Cove Holden defends quite successfully, not having as much cheese on their board as I think PCO hoped. PCO having to break a bit early to try to get to their well, but that does leave a lot of cheese on Cove Holden's board. They're not able to attack at all. And as a result, PCO getting the counter attack. Flash of two openers and they both neutralize pretty well. PCO, just as they block their well, Cove Holden sends a massive downstack attack. I'm not sure if PCO can downstack this in time, but Cove Holden, with so many misdrops, getting the Surge Break, and that's enough to top them out. Cove Holden now on the board. PCO's efficiency is shining through, and that is a secret grade level misdrop sequence. That is very unfortunate. If I had to guess, I think this might be a keyboard problem. Can't say for sure though. Hopefully that will be the last of secret grade misdrops. Cove Holden. Trying to carry on some momentum from PC, but it is PCO that gets most of the clean garbage, forcing Cove Holden to multiply downstack successfully, but being pressured to the top of the board, and they survive, but not with a clear advantage so far. That being said, PCO taking a few interesting skins, trying to get to their garbage, but trying to stall a bit, honestly. Met with cheese at the bottom, but nothing they can't really handle. As I say that, Cove Holden with a massive, I think, back-to-back break. LST for PCO at 4.0 PPS. That will surely send a lot to Cove Holden, but it's all cancelled basically. That was a very impressive downstack, I didn't even see it. Left with some clean. And they're just cancelling everything that comes their way while building back-to-back extremely quickly, and PCO, seeing if they can survive this, they do have the eyepiece necessary, and they are even T-spinning at the top of their very board. Not sure how this will turn out, but Cove Holden misdropping, giving just a bit more time to PCO. We are back to neutral. Cove Holden going for a very risky donation, but will it pay off? Oh, PCO tanking just at the right moment and sending it all back. We are 3-all. PCO's efficiency is just extremely crazy in scenarios like these. Like getting a 30 spike and just living. As I say that, might have been a commentator's curse. Striding does not pay off for them. Oh, PCO keeping as much back-to-back as they can. Not enough to top out Cove Holden. They now have T-spins of their own. And I'd like to point out Cove Holden's speed, pushing 3.8 PPS compared to PCO's 3.2 PPS. Even though I'm pretty sure 3.1 is pretty fast for PCO. The Cove Holden is definitely pushing PCO's speed, that's for sure. Cove Holden cheesed up. But they get to the clean. This might be a good opportunity to counterattack with PCO not having much attack on their board right now. I might have cursed it because Cove Holden does not get to their well in time. Now that it's 4, we go back to stick spin for Cove. A little awkward tuck there, but seems to have paid off because they get the well and the back-to-back break. Although it does almost nothing to PCO, other than forcing them to misdrop that with extremely high speed. Can they live this? I don't think so. Ooh, Cove Holden, bit of an awkward misdrop, but they fix it while still maintaining their 4.1 PPS. Meanwhile, PCO, having struggles of their own, not able to downstack that. Very nice tuck from PCO to continue the LST. Cove Holden having slight misdrops of their own, but it does catch PCO slightly off guard. And with those misdrops from both sides, I think both players in a bit of jeopardy here, and it's PCO that manages to send in attack first. PCO, not able to catch the PC in time, but they do get some nasty back-to-back, which they definitely are grading for. Kofolden not accepting clean, but accepting cheese instead. This might have thrown them off a bit because they misdrop a few times and it's back to even. And I'd like to remind everyone that this is losers bracket, so whoever wins this does advance, but whoever loses will be eliminated. Struck on PCO's side. Ooh. Very tough fixes. Not sure if they can downstack in time. Cove just striding out attacks, and it's working. Kofolden does accept the clean garbage, but they don't keep their back-to-back. It's still enough to top out PCO again. We have course 6 to 9. Kofolden kind of running away with it. It was 6 all a while ago, but if they keep this momentum, this would be quite a win. As I say that, PCO speeding up a bit, kicking it up a notch. Very nice spins to keep back to back. When they finally break, they have more clean at the bottom, but it's not enough to kill, not nearly enough. Ooh, Kofolden misdropping the STSD. They tried to downstack it, but might not be quick enough. PCO though, no attack to capitalize. And now they are the ones trying to build an attack. Will this back-to-back break do PCO any good? It does. Lessen the impact of Kofolden's downstack. Another misdrop from Kofolden. I think this swings the favor to PCO quite substantially. Both players having back-to-back attacks on the board, but again it neutralizes. I would say both these players are playing it quite safe right now. PCO not wanting to lose, and Kofolden not wanting to give an ounce of momentum. Because if PCO loses this one, they will be eliminated from the tournament. Ooh, as I say that, a deadly misdrop, and this is match point. PCO is going to have to pull out all the stops. When I say stops, I don't mean stopping from misdropping. Again, playing it extremely safely, not wanting to misdrop their way out of this tournament, but Kofolden is now the one taking risks. Surge breaking. Oh, misdrops. This might be the momentum that PCO needs. But Cove Holden gets the eyepiece just in time and they live to attack PCO back. Cove Holden possibly building up a back-to-back chain, but PCO has enough material to cancel this. Oh, Cove Holden! Those are some amazing T-spins, getting every single one of them. And that's GG's. An awesome way to finish off this match. Well played to Cove Holden and PCO. Ashibara, again back with the tanking against Limit. That is pretty insane survival from Limit. Sorry, from Ashibara. But it's not enough. Limit overpowers Ashibara. Now, Ashibara's APM is significantly higher than Limit. When I say significantly high, it's not that much higher, but enough to make a difference, given how fast Limit can go. That's a huge advantage for Limit, but if Ashibara can live at all, this will be a very close match. You see Ashibara's timing back at it again. Sending quite a bit of cheese to Limit's board, not enough to top them out. And it's Ashibara trying to downstack to get to a better board state. Limit is the one tanking now, so there's no immediate follow-up. Ashibara racking up back-to-back. Those are some amazing spins to see. Oh, greening a bit, so the back-to-back does get broken, but in the end it doesn't even matter, because who knows? Only back-to-back kind of kills 99% of Tetria players. quite a few misdrops on Ashibara's side. Limit also with a few dodgy spins, but both players seem to have recovered now. And both players kind of speeding up a bit, and it's Limit that overpowers Ashibara. Again, we have a stall battle from both of these players. And Ashibara's kind of getting cheese right now, so maybe timing isn't what they need to do. Or at least they need to downstack before they can time, because Limit is sending over clean right now. Ashibara, more than capable of finding a way out. But it's about if they can do it before Limit gets too high of a back-to-back. They do manage to get counter spike and Limit breaks early. Just attack after attack, and Ashibara, just like that, top of the board, still living until they just get pressured. TKI from both sides. We hadn't seen Limit go as fast as they did in the previous rounds. Maybe they're saving that for later in the round because it's only been 3 rounds so far. Limit going for cheese again. And Ashibara, no choice but to downstack through all of this. They do it with ease. But Limit, back with cheese again. Immediately capitalizing. Somehow Ashibara has kept back-to-back through all of those attacks and is sending a counter-attack of their own, pressuring Limit. But both players are just sending attack after attack. Whoever downstacks slower in this case, and seems to be Ashibara. Keystone triple from Ashibara's side, going with risky setups to counter Limit's extremely fast LST. And it seems to be working given that they have a lot of cheese on Limit's board now, and that causes a misdrop from Limit. A very bad one in fact. Having to use some eyepieces to get out of it. And with that break, Limit still somehow survives. Downstacking at the speed of light, and now the cheese is just on Ashibara's board. Quite a fatal misdrop. Limit not having enough attack. Ooh. Limit trying to go for the short surge, but Ashibara, you have to remember, their timing is super good. Even with slightly less DPS, they are keeping up with the attack. Like that spike did not very much to affect Ashibara. when they're ready. Limit caught pretty off guard with no I-piece, no T-piece, no combo. And that's a game to Ashibara. This DT pen we're seeing. Ooh, Ashibara. One misdrop is all it takes. Limit with the queen on their board. Just like that, 4 lines of cheese. But they are still striding away, building their back-to-back. I think they might be trying to go for a kill here. Never mind, they're just counting to 4 until they break back-to-back and Ashibara completely caught off guard. Limit, I think, showing the speed that we saw earlier, knowing that they have the momentum and everything is in their favor. Six free stacking and causing Ashibara to just top out from all the pressure. Bit of a stall battle again. And that is a 30 spike down stack that Limit just eats for breakfast. Keeping their back-to-back in the process. As I say that is definitely when they need to break their back-to-back. Ooh, that's a lot of queen on Ashibara. And I think if they break right now, never mind, Limit lives. But with that misdrop, it's not so clear anymore. Both players kind of in a shaky position. Both stalling until they get out of it. And it's back to neutral. Ashibara took the T-spin triple. And the I-spin to keep the back-to-back. An amazing sequence. Even the count to 4. They are very committed to this back-to-back. And it does send a bit of cheese. Oh, followed by this back-to-back attack. They choose not to break it. Instead, they combo down stack and Limit cancels it all. Limit not able to find a spin to downstack, instead just skimming, but seems like their skims have sent a lot of cheese to Ashibara's board, who did not cancel in time. They definitely can live this, but Limit, with so much momentum, still not able to capitalize. That's Ashibara who looks like they might be building an attack. Overstacking. Looking for that killer down stack. But Limit gets out in time. Ooh. that would be a nasty combo. They could get the quad multiplier off. Ooh, that is an untimely misdrop. 3 minutes into the match. And Ashibara bringing it back just a tiny bit. Players, who will send first? I feel like this has been a recurring theme tonight, and in the end it seems like both players just cancel. Nothing too eventful, apart from that J-spin. That is a very nice J-spin. Ashibara breaking at the right moment. Limit just found in not the best position. If Ashibara can take just a few more quick rounds, it would be back to even. And as soon as Limit takes his lead of 4, being reduced to just 1. Limit going fast yet again, striding out attacks, but Ashibara is able to counter all of them. A few skims and wiggling the T, but wiggled it the wrong way. The discipline of Ashibara to time all of these attacks. And seems to pay off because Limit having to use all their eyepieces, not able to downstack in time. 6 all. Ashibara tanking a bit of clean. Limit, I think, going for a T-spin triple, but not able to execute it in time. Ashibara trying to go for a Z-spin into TSD setup, but not able to set it up in time. And Limit with a bit more momentum. Seems like momentum has served him well so far, but Ashibara just takes that momentum right back after that misdrop. This match could go either way, given that both of these players have misdropped quite a bit throughout this match. Ashibara with the quad PC, we'll see if that does anything. Limit having to skim a bit. I think just more focused on survival than anything else. Spins on Ashibara's board, but maybe at the cost of his garbage? They downstack very swiftly. But Limit looking to stride out a bit of back-to-back. Short surges, and that sends cheese onto Ashibara's board. And with that quad TSD, Ashibara survives, and now we'll see who has the bigger clean attack. Even though Ashibara misdrops, that is still enough to survive. Now Ashibara, yet again, with a deadly back-to-back. I'm sure that if Limit wasn't going this fast, Ashibaru would try to build up as much surge as they can. So Limit is doing a very good job at limiting Ashibaru's attack. But as I say that, just a few too many slow decisions and Ashibaru takes another point. Getting closer and closer to match point. Imperial Cross on Ashibaru's board. Limit has to find a way to break Ashibaru's back-to-back before it builds up too much. Misdrops on both sides, and this could go either way. But I think Ashibaru is the one to correct their mistakes first, and Limit trying to go, no! That eye misdrop. So punishing. Now the pressure's definitely on Limit now. If they can pull off one quick win here, you could swing the momentum back into favor of Limit. That garbage might give some momentum, but they break the B2B just to cancel. And now Ashibaru for back-to-back. Not so good. That Limit has misdropped, and they're looking for the down stack, which they unfortunately cannot find. Just for eyepiece, that was too late. Staring down at match point, Limit has to dig deep. Find something out of here. That is unfortunate garbage on Limit's side, but Ashibaru just not able to capitalize just yet, giving Limit enough time to downstack through all of that. They're definitely going for back-to-back in this situation, because Limit has nothing to lose. And like a man with nothing to lose, going at 3.6 PPS. Enough to kill. 10-8. Ooh, that misdrop is barely fixable, but I think another misdrop is just too much to handle, and well played to both players, but Ashibaru, I would say, slightly more consistent, and that gets the game to them. Insanely well played from both players. That was quite a long first to 11. Next up, we have Haya for Pinkie Pie versus Cove Holden. You might see Pinkie Pie has quite the advantage in terms of stats, but Cove Holden with stick spin, it could be close. Just waiting for players to join. Still waiting for Pinkie Pie to join. In the meantime, this isn't part of the script, but we could advertise the land tournament. If I can find the link. If this command works. Yep. Hummingbird Nest land in Manila, Philippines. You guys should definitely join that if you can. Just join the Discord and we will see all the details there. Oh, it looks like Pinkie Pie finally joined, and we will see if a warm-up is necessary. And we are going with the warm-up. This is losers round 5. Good luck to both players. Pinkie Pie and Kobolden both 4 PPS out of the gate. Slowing down a bit. Pinkie Pie breaking quite early. Kobolden caught off guard, and that is not a T-spin in time. Both players ready now for the real deal. Good luck, have fun to both players. We see TKI from both players, but Kobolden early misdrop, and Pinkie Pie is very quick to capitalize. Now Kobolden going for the insane setups in the opener, because honestly that is their best chance of winning in the opener phase. Just unfortunate misdrops. Not easy when you're fighting a player that can go faster than you, but Cove is trying to make it work. Stick spin now. Pinkie Pie does have clean on their board, but Kobolden is not slowing down. That is enough to top them out. So I'm assuming Kobolden, never mind. Kobolden is going for PCO while Pinkie Pie is going for stick spin. And Cove forced to break the back to back. Pinkie Pie back to back now. Oh, but Cove Holden, massive spike sending tons of cheese to Pinkie Pie's board. And they have even more combo to back it up. Pinkie Pie though, just like that, they set up a T-spin quad quad, and that is so much pressure. MKO from Pinkie Pie, I think that's the first one of the night. Waste T. And it seems like a bit of waste die because they have to stall a bit before they get the IPs needed to get down before they finally do. Cove Holden. No down stack sequence here, it seemed. Pinkie Pie. And quite a bit of counteract to Cove Holden's opener. But in doing so, they send over a ton of cheese. Sorry, not cheese, clean. Cove Holden's cheese gets cancelled. But it is a lot of momentum. Let's see if Cove Holden can make anything out of this attack. Pinkie Pie waiting, but that might not have been the play because Cove Holden kills with a Fractal. Oh, now that was quite a quick round, given it was 4.4 PPS, but still. I think Cove Holden should be the one taking these fast rounds. As I say that, 4.8 PPS, outdoing the last round in quick wins. Now we see STPC from Pinkie Pie keeping the back-to-back until they're forced to break it in defense, but Cove Holden with the most tragic misdrop sequence of all time. Might be the nerves settling in, but you can't afford to misdrop so much at this time. A good stall from Pinkie Pie. Cove Holden seeming to find another gear, speeding up a tiny bit. But now they have to downstack through this cheese. Misdrops definitely won't help here. They tried to find a downstack, but it's just too much pressure. Kickspin misdrops, not the most ideal. And Cove misdrop City. And credit to Pinkie Pie for capitalizing so easily. Every single time Cove Holden makes a mistake, it's just instantly punished. Very methodical setups from Pinkie Pie, but maybe a bit too slow because Cove Holden outpressures. And we are seeing stick spin versus stick spin this time. With Pinkie Pie misdropping but getting to the well almost instantly to miss downstep. Cove Holden with the first significant back-to-back advantage in a while. They break it early. Pinkie Pie having the eye pieces to survive. Pressure's still on, and I think Cove Holden could make something out of this attack. Because Pinkie Pie barely having a down stack, but they misdrop the J piece. And maybe this is the momentum that Cove Holden needs. It's a stick spin. Building up that back-to-back. Insanely fast spins, but at the cost of misdropping. And just like that, the back-to-back advantage is gone. Just as quickly as it disappeared, it's gone again because of that misdrop. Pinkie Pie just 2 points away from advancing. Now, that all clear. Not doing enough to kill Pinkie Pie, but Cove Holden now having a bit of time to set up an attack. That is a nice C-spin into T-spin double, and unfortunately they're forced to break their back-to-back in defense. Pinkie Pie now with the clean garbage on their side, while Cove Holden continues to stack up. Seems like Pinkie Pie, no true way to count to 4, instead choosing to send cheese. Cove Holden sending cheese of their own, and is pushing higher on their board. I've been waiting to use that one. And Pinkie Pie losing some of their momentum. Ooh, Cove Holden sent to the top of their board, but because of their center well, they can get away with it. And Pinkie Pie cancelling all the cheese just in time. Cove Holden back on the attack, but just as quickly, Pinkie Pie sets up that fractal and Cove Holden is caught off guard. Going to be very hard to pull back match point from 6-10. But now that there seem to be fewer misdrops, I feel like Cove Holden somewhat has a chance, and I think I commentator cursed it, but well played to both players. Very strong performance from Cove Holden, winning 6 points. Now we move on back to the winner's bracket, and we get to see Summer versus Torowo. Now, don't let the stats fool you, because Torowo played very dominantly against Pinkie Pie earlier. Waiting for the players to be ready. It looks like the players are ready to play. And it looks like we have no warm-up and we'll go straight into it. Good luck, have fun to both players. We see the T-Spin triple double opener that has been serving Torobo so well tonight. But Summer getting the back-to-back advantage quite early on. Nothing that Torobo can't counter themselves. Just like that, it's quite even. Summer trying to cancel, probably because they have enough clean on their board already to send a big attack. Torobo trying to set up something here. Summer won't die easily with this back-to-back surge, which is still going up. Ooh, that is a lot. They use the eyepiece cancel, a brilliant move, but it's still not enough because Torobo is sending so much at just 3 PPS. This is insane efficiency from Torobo. Very nice spins from both players. Keeping back to back pretty evenly. They both break at similar times, but Torobo, breaking slightly earlier, can get a bit more follow-up. Oh, that seems like a mis-rotate from Torobo. They still preserve the T-spin triple. While some are preserving their back-to-back. They break it, I think, to preserve their board state. And in doing so, it sends a lot of cheese over to Torobo. Torobo not able to attack in this state. Just trying to downstack out of cheese. And Summer is able to capitalize just in time. Now, another store battle. Summer sends first. And thankfully, the garbage isn't in a bad enough space to punish. What is punishing is this insane attack, which even an Ice Skim can't fix. Now 2-all. A very even game so far. Both players having pretty convincing wins each. Summer misdrops at the top of their board. Gets just enough to downstack, but not seeing many eyepieces in their queue. Thankfully they're able to cancel most of Torobo's attack. Torowo with back-to-back pressure now. We'll see when they choose to send it, and it doesn't look like they're sending it anytime soon because they die with the 12 back-to-back. That was extremely unfortunate to die at that very moment. But right back to the TV opener. Straight into the LST, straight into the back-to-back break, and that tops out Summer, who couldn't even break their back-to-back in defense. Okay, Toro definitely stepping on the gas right now. But at what cost? Plenty of misdrops so far. Definitely cannot handle it. In fact, a lot of back-to-back on his side, and he's deciding to convert his misdrop into a T-spin triple tower that sends so much to Summer. 28 spike. Unfortunately, cannot be cancelled in time. Very nice spin sequence from Torowell. Decides to cancel with it. Possibly a good option because Summer has to misdrop their sequence, and that is a lot of back-to-back from Torowell's board, sent right back, and it's just fractals upon all spins. Super efficient, almost 1 APP without breaking back-to-back, and that just seals the deal. Even if Summer hadn't misdropped, I think it was very hard to win from that position. Again, both players stepping on the gas. Torowell going for back-to-back C-spins. Is pretty insane. That's an even more insane Z-spin triple. Now not really the time. Although what am I really saying? Because if he can greed that, surely he can greed just a bit more. And that is cheese on both players' boards. It's a downstack festival. Both players just trying to survive. Summer getting their IPs just in time, but Torowell gets the attack off. And that's another point to Torowell, running away with the lead now. But Torowell misdropping pretty brutally, trying to get Prophecy out of it. Instead, they just choose to downstack. Summer trying to get a quick downstack of their own. Meanwhile, Torowell seems to be pretty comfortable with their position, going for donations on the side stack, and it is enough to kill Summer. Ooh, that is a very bad misdrop. Ooh, Torowell not able to get that LP solo. And Summer getting a point back. Now, I think the most notable thing about these opening sequences is that Torowell is really pushing the speed, even if it's just for 10 seconds. That's pretty substantial. And in doing so, Summer really has to match the pace, which they're also doing brilliantly. Speaking of which, both players now at about 17 back-to-back each. And counting, this is going to be an epic moment when both players break. It's Torowell who misdrops first, they break inevitably, and somehow Sama comes off on top. Perhaps that match might make Toro change up his strategy a bit. Might see them trying to break back-to-back slightly earlier, but as I say that, they are going for the 11 back-to-back advantage again. They break to get to their garbage well, but it's not enough to pressure Sama. Trying to find a setup to pressure, but Sama might be the one. And Toro. Very nice T-spins to cancel, and they will get to their well extremely soon. But Sama will have to get through that cheese if they want to live through this sequence of Toro. But Toro misdrops, and this is going to be tough to capitalize, but they managed to do it with their back-to-back break. And we are moving closer and closer to first to 11. It could still go either way here, if Sama manages to get a comeback. They try to keep their back-to-back, but it's in vain because they really have to find a better way to counter Toro's back-to-back of their own. Toro manages to break it first, but not successful in topping out Sama. What else is not successful is that sequence, because Toro struggling a bit to downstack and a few misdrops in book with their board. It's a bit too much to handle. Now, that spike, pretty deadly, but Sama getting out just in time, even with the T-spin to cancel. That is an unfortunate high misdrop. And Toro running away with a back-to-back yet again. You know how powerful they are when they get the surge and they pull it off. Toro bringing back their waiting strategy, cancelling pretty perfectly. Although they break early, they still have the momentum. Because Sama probably being forced to break here, and it results in not a kill. But that eye misdrop is gonna do it, and Sama still able to bring this back. That is very nice garbage for Toro. But that is even nicer garbage for Sama, who tries to kill, but it's just not enough. Toro gets the eyepieces in time and finds downstack. Incredible survival. Even more spins from Toro, even more spins from Sama, and back-to-back is about dead even here. We saw a repeat of this. Can Toro make it any different? All they have to do is not misdrop. And oh no! It seems like the mishold got them, and if Toro keeps on misdropping just like that, things could shift to Sama's favor. Sama misdropping the T-spin triple. This is still livable for them, but not after that spike. Torowo seeing an opportunity and short surging. Just like that, it's match point. Ooh, that is a painful spike. But Sama cannot live it. Good games for both players. With that, Torowo makes it to the grand finals. Jumping back to losers bracket, next up we have Pinkie Pie versus Ashibara. Good luck, have fun to both players. No warm up, straight into it. We see LST from both players, but Ashibara's is slightly faster. But now, game seeming to turn into Pinkie Pie's favour, and Ashibara not having successful downstack. TKI, except one of them misdropped. Nothing they can't really fix, especially with that T-spin, mini T-spin double quad. And I think Pinkie Pie sees that, so it's yet another Soul in battle. Pinkie sends first, and Ashibara misdrops right after that sequence. Thankfully, I think they do have a way out, which they do find. Some quick misdrops on Pinkie Pie's board with even quicker fixes, but that might be enough to give Ashibara a window to attack. Pinkie Pie though has so much clean garbage. Both players in fact have so much clean garbage. And misdropping both eyepieces is not ideal. That is an unfortunate way to go. We're seeing STPC spin from Ashibara's side. Pinkie Pie cheesing up Ashibara. And that is even more cheese added to the pile. And Pinkie Pie now having the clean to themselves. That is simply death. Ashibara with the LST, but countered by Pinkie Pie's C-Split. Now Pinkie Pie building up the back-to-back just to break it a few moments later. Now with the misdrops, it's definitely Ashibara's time to capitalize, and they managed to capitalize. Another stalling battle. And it's Ashibara to send first. Pinkie Pie thinking about how they should send it back. Ooh, Ashibara with some very risky Z placements, but they somehow survive by the skin of their teeth. And it's very risky for Ashibara at this very moment. Somehow, they managed to live, but Pinkie Pie breaking their back-to-back, sending tons of garbage over. Ashibara just not able to get a word in. Pinkie Pie making their misdrop into a 39 spike. Ashibara speeding up a tiny bit, trying to get a spike of their own back, and it is successful. But can Pinkie Pie live? No, they cannot. We see another TT cannon. I think we had a TT cannon earlier in the stream. Ashibara keeping their back-to-back against Pinkie Pie's insurmountable back-to-back, it seems. It doesn't look like they're going to be breaking anytime soon. Pinkie Pie just cancelling everything, building up their back-to-back past 20. If Ashibara does not get a counter, this might spell the end for them. They try their very best, and they manage to cancel just enough to get to their eyepieces. Very awesome survival from Ashibara. But this time it's cheese. They won't be so lucky if they can't downstack through this. Ashibara has done super well to survive Pinkie Pie's pressure so far, but they need just a bit more if they want to survive any of this, basically. How can they turn the tables? Only time will tell. PCL from Ashibara's side. And pressure to the very top. Very unfortunate death. Pinkie Pie just too efficient. Now picking up speed, we have 5 PPS misdropped LST versus 3.5 PPS LST. That is skimmed down in order to survive. Oh, Pinkie Pie at the very top of their board. but Ashibara has nothing to send yet. Ashibara fighting for tournament life. And they are managing to get the most clean they can out of all this garbage. We know that Ashibara's timing, when they're given the room, can be super deadly. Pinkie Pie is just not letting up with the pressure whatsoever. Ashibara going for as many T-spins as they can, cancelling just the right amount, but no multiplier stuff in sight. But with Pinkie Pie's misdrop, that is enough to get a point. And just like that, we're evening things up a bit. Pinkie Pie denying the PC, and rightfully so, because they get garbage perfectly. They do greed a bit, forcing them to break the back-to-back, but Ashibara in no position to really pressure. Having to get down through the cheese first. They do it very effectively for J-Spin. And now it's Pinkie Pie who's trying to greed yet again. Will they be punished for it? No, they get the eyepieces in time, and Ashibara at the top of their board once again. And if they're at the top of the board so many times, it's only a matter of time until we get topped out. Not Ashibara though. Pinkie Pie. Fractals on fractals. And that's just another fractal setup. And turning it into a multiply spike, but Ashibara with that insane eye spin for survival. That is the kind of spins that you need to survive. I might have commentator cursed that. Six four. Ashibara letting Pinkie Pie tank a lot of queen garbage. And it's not enough to kill Ashibara, but it's definitely enough to push them to the top of their board. And if Ashibara can't really attack, they can't really win. I think that's Pinkie Pie's strategy right now, if I had to guess. With how much APM they're just churning out right now, Ashibara's constantly on the defense. And it's up to Ashibara to break that cycle if they can. Both players maybe feeling a bit fatigued because they're slowing down a tiny bit. And Ashibara not able to downstack through all this cheese. Pinkie Pie deliberately accepting all of that. And Ashibara trying their best to attack as much as possible, but Pinkie Pie's just sending it all back. This might be Ashibara's opportunity. They send it, and it kills. Ashibara just barely hanging in there, score-wise. A few more rounds like that, and they could bring it back to even. Ashibara just trying their best to survive, but this time it's clean on their board, so they could make something happen. Unfortunately, for Ashibara, it's just all clean on Pinkie Pie's board, which gets sent back. Thankfully, it's back to neutral. Ashibara has yet another chance to make things happen. Pinkie Pie with just genius T-spin sequences, not letting up at all. And that is insane garbage RNG for Pinkie Pie, and they're using it to its fullest potential. That is an unsurvivable attack. Ashibara can try their best, but that is an insane amount of garbage. Again, such lucky garbage, and Ashibara really can't do anything about it. Pushing as much speed as possible. This might be what Ashibara needs. Just clean spin sequences. They need to not be too pressured by Pinkie Pie. They need to be the one pressuring, and that is what is happening. Pinkie Pie taking the PC this time. Ashibara having the mid-game PC but denying it. Just for, well, the back-to-back, I guess. They know that Pinkie Pie sends everything they send back. So they've just resorted to pressuring unconditionally. A very nice fire spin to maintain back-to-back. A 25 spike from Pinkie Pie, but it does almost nothing. And meanwhile, a 29 spike back! And Pinkie Pie's caught off guard, and it's 9-8. Somehow, Ashibara is bringing this back. And I would credit it to Ashibara's genuinely insane timing, because Pinkie Pie really isn't playing bad right now. In fact, you can see them speeding up. But Ashibara just found that extra bit of motivation, I guess, and they are bringing it back with all the risky plays, including a T-spin double right after that S-spin triple. But Ashibara, who seems all too familiar, being pressured by Pinkie Pie all the way to the top of their board, and it's match point once again. Pinkie Pie trying to end all of this, just get first to 11 and move on. I know Ashibara isn't going to go down without a fight. Ooh, as I say that, such unfortunate pieces. Imagine having two eyes and no way to downstack. Super well played from Ashibara. But it is Pinkie Pie that gets to move on to fight Summer in the losers finals. Whoever wins this matchup is going to face Torowa in the grand finals. These statistics are super even between the two. We will see if Pinkie Pie can carry on their momentum from the previous match. Looks like Summer gaining the back-to-back advantage, but Pinkie Pie is catching up slowly but surely. Oh, trying to go for the L-spin, that would have been an amazing sequence, but the misdrop, unfortunately. Ooh, just not enough pressure to counter Summer's pressure. We'll see which TKI they choose. Pinkie Pie. Going for the imp cross. Summer going for all spins. A bit of lag, followed up by infamous T-spin tower. Sorry, T-spin triple tower. And almost going for another T-spin triple, but instead going for the T-spin double. And trying to keep as much back-to-back as possible, but Summer just spikes it out. I believe that was a 31 spike. Pinkie Pie, a few misdrops on their board, giving Summer the opportunity to build up yet more back-to-back. Pinkie Pie putting on the pressure, trying to get a break out of Summer, but it's just not happening. Look at all that clean, and that's a 37 spike. Summer going for SDPC, 4.0 PPS. Summer, 18 back-to-back, so they lived that unfortunate sequence of events. And it's quite even right now, unless Pinkie Pie gets the greatest garbage of all time yet again, and Summer is just left defenseless. Both players going for PCO. I believe Summer had to fix the misdrop and trying to go for a tie-down, building back momentum up again. Very nice sequences, S-spins, Z-spins, everything for that back-to-back. And Pinkie Pie misdropping the J-piece. Breaking back-to-back against Summer. Knowing how much back-to-back Summer can get, it's impressive that they managed to even live that attack. It looks like Summer's misdropping so much though. And Pinkie Pie getting all the lucky garbage RNG tonight. Oh my. But it's Summer who gets the back-to-back attack. Now Pinkie Pie tanking a tiny bit. Oh, Summer, insane survival and keeping on to the surge. It's amazing that they managed to live that. But Pinkie Pie getting an attack when Summer's caught off guard. PC spam incoming. Oh, that is not a T-spin, so Pinkie Pie does not get the back-to-back they need. Summer, on the other hand, building up back-to-back. Oh, but they misdrop too. It's just back and forth with who's holding back-to-back advantage right now. But at the moment, Pinkie Pie breaks their 12 surge and catches Summer right off guard, having to waste 2 eyepieces with no T-piece. And it seems like most of these games have come down to who can use their back-to-back more effectively. Because both these players are more than capable of building up back-to-back, but with a misdrop like that, this game could go either way. Pinkie Pie greeting so much with that LST, and Summer succumbing to the pressure, just barely having no down stack out. Pinkie Pie breaking early, I would say catching Summer off guard, but Summer has back-to-back to reply. And both building up their back-to-back. Summer having a very nice spike while keeping their back-to-back. And this is how they managed to build up so much back-to-back, just pure efficiency. But Pinkie Pie keeping their well so clean, dealing the back-to-back right back. Summer getting the insane survival. This is an insane matchup. Both of these players playing their very best. Ooh, a slight misdrop from Pinkie Pie. Very nice attack from Pinkie Pie, and that catches Summer off guard. Summer was one piece away from a T-spin and a quad, but just not fast enough to get it. Very nice T-spin triple from Sama. And even with equal back-to-back, Pinkie Pie found at the top of their board and they just top out. Sama had too big of an advantage. Ooh, a misdrop on Sama's side could be deadly here, given how many eyepieces they're using to downstack. Just as much though, Pinkie Pie taking some time to make an attack and in the end misdropping over the well. I don't think they're actually the ones attacking here, they're the ones being pressured. Sama's so quick to build back-to-back up. Pinkie Pie trying their very best to downstack, barely hanging on dear life, but it's not enough, and it's 7-6. Back-to-back so powerful. And Pinkie Pie struggling to keep up. Maybe a bit fatigued from defending all of Sama's pressure. Because once you let Sama build up that back-to-back, there's not much you can do to counter it other than build back-to-back with your own. If you're misdropping, you really can't build back-to-back of your own. Same could be said for Sama though, as they are forced to break their 12 surge to defend. Or near the top of their board, not enough to top them out. Just like that, back-to-back, yet again, sending Queen to Pinkie Pie. But just so much clean that they get topped out once again. Both players speeding up once again as we near first to 11. Pinkie Pie timing a little bit. And Sama with extremely good RNG on the garbage capitalize on Pinkie Pie's misdrop. And Sama who looks like they might be able to take the game in just a few moments. Pinkie Pie going for the mech, cutting it slightly short. And even with the mech, both players break back-to-back. But since Pinkie Pie broke it first, they had insane follow-up, and Sama could not find the well. This is an insanely close match still. Neither player has really made very bad errors other than misdrops. Just whoever gets the biggest spike. And in this case, Pinkie Pie manages to tie it back up. Crucial point here. We will see how Pinkie Pie deals with the all clear. It looks like both of them break their back-to-back. And Pinkie Pie trying to tank. Will it pay off? Surge Deficit isn't looking too good, but that Clean Well is. But I misdrop so deadly, and the mishold is even more tragic. Does not get any closer than this. Pinkie Pie, one loss away from losing this tournament. They've come so far. Defended Summer's relentless pressure for so long. Can they hold out for just 2 more rounds? Summer with double O pieces in their queue, and it's a tiebreaker. Match point. Tiebreaker in losers finals. For a spot to the grand finals. A misdrop on Summer's board. Possibly the nerves getting to them. Pinkie Pie, 4.2 PPS. Striding it out. They are the ones with the back-to-back now. They are controlling the pace of the game. Summer, setting up an STSD. Sending back all that clean. A clutch clear, but it's not enough. And Summer is going to grand finals. In an extremely close tiebreaker match, Summer comes out on top. What a round. And in that match, the stats, meaning like the speed and attack, and the verses were also close to each other. There was only a difference in 10 lines received by each player, with Summer receiving 1,033 lines and Pinkie Pie receiving 1,022 lines. Extremely well played by both players. Just as quickly, we move on to the grand finals match. Both players are ready. Good luck. Have fun. Seed 1 Summer versus Seed 3 Torowo. A 20-piece PC taken by Torowo, but Summer not able to use the clean because of that misdrop. Torowo having a lot of cheese on their board, so they're not able to attack. And Summer building up back-to-back. Ooh, a misdrop on Summer's board, and Torowo immediately capitalizes, but Summer has just enough back-to-back to cancel it. An awkward skin, but they still live. Though they do have quite a lot of cheese on their board, while Torowo has mostly clean. Now the roles have reversed, and Summer seems to have all the clean on their board, and Torowo not able to downstack in time. Looking at possibly PCO from Summer and MS2 from Torowo. Torowo choosing not to take the PC this time, instead taking a deadly multiplier spike, which takes Summer off guard. It feels as if Summer doesn't really know how to counter Torowo's MS2. Summer goes for Imperial Cross, but Torowo still ending up with clean on their board. And now, trying to get through the cheese, still pressuring Summer while doing so. And Torowo now has back-to-back, but so does Summer. Torowo breaks first and Summer doesn't, until they try to pressure Torowo out of living. Torowo somehow Sends a short surge back, and that's enough to top Summer out. Summer, under a lot of pressure, and they are not able to downstack that. Toro just having too many T-spins too quickly. Yet again we see Toro using MS2 and DPC this time. A bold move considering Summer has back-to-back of their own, and follow-up C-spin is unsuccessful. Trying again with the C-spin. Not able to get a multiply spike out of it. In fact, it's Summer who gets the multiply spike. Cheeses Toro up, but somehow Toro lives. That is a horrible T-spin placement, though. Misdrops so deadly at this stage, especially when these two players are so close in skill. Toro still going for those multiply spikes, and this time it is enough to catch Summer off guard. Just short of the pieces needed to get down. And this time Summer trying for STPC to break the cycle of C-spins. It seems to work because they get very clean garbage and maintain their back-to-back this time. Now all they have to do is capitalize, which is easier said than done, considering Toro almost has just as much back-to-back. And they tank some while sending their back-to-back, leading to Summer not being able to defend. Summer probably trying to adapt their approach. They broke their back-to-back to maintain a cleaner well. And it's really no problem because they can build up back-to-back even after a misdrop. They're just that quick with their spins. That being said, that is so much cheese for Summer, and I don't think they can downstack that in time. Toro, even though they're playing so fast right now, their timing of attacks have really been catching Summer off guard. Ooh, as I say that, a misdrop catches Toro himself off guard, and Summer takes a point. Summer misdropping themselves, but a good enough fix to survive. Toro trying to time a short surge, but not enough to kill Summer. Instead, Summer speeding up, trying to get a back-to-back chain growing. Let's cut short, and Toro is for one, with donations. 16 back-to-back and counting. That is a very nice double quad into a surge break. Somehow Summer lives that. Eyepieces for days. Even donations keep themselves safe. But Toro, relentless pressure. And the cheese is just too much. C-spin strikes again, and Summer having to think twice about not making a game-ending decision. Ooh, Torowo taking a risk with that STSD, but it seems to be paying off. Sama taking risks of their own, and that is an insane, greedy decision. That still leads in them being pressured. It's insane what Torowo can do. Torowo, somehow, through Summer's relentless back-to-back chains, just finding a way to pressure them. And I would say it's mainly because Torowo himself can back-to-back so well. As I say that, and I mishold, and they cannot T-spin out of this one. Trusty C-spin opener yet again. Torowo getting enough back-to-back to cancel most of that attack. But Summer, for the first time in a while, with a significant back-to-back advantage, which they use on a short surge. Fortunately, not enough to pressure Torowo into any dangerous position. Torowo is for one, timing, getting every attack out of every piece. Sama just not able to get the break in time. I think they were thinking about it for way too long, and Torowo just attacked on top of their attack. Sama needing to find some way to counter Torowo. Torowo not having easy access to their garbage, could this be a chance? They break, but they get down in time. Such dominant downstacking ability from Torowo, such high speeds from both players. With that clean garbage, Sama is in deep trouble yet again, and we find ourselves at match point. Sama saying GG in chat, as if it's already over. I don't think it's over just yet, especially with that odd misdrop from Torowo. L-spin included. Surge deficit and Sama fighting for tournament life. If Sama wins this, we go to Grand Finals bracket reset, and these two players play again. So, I believe that Torowo just wants to end this for good. We'll see if Sama can hold out for just a few more rounds. High dance from Torowo, relentless pressure. Sama breaking their back-to-back, surviving. Insane spins as well. Sama keeping their back-to-back through Torowo's break, and Torowo is misdropping more and more. And STSD into the break. I don't think Torowo was expecting that. And they set up a greedy T-spin with no T. Sama could bring this back. We're seeing dominant T-spins and very clean board states from Sama here. If there's any time to play as well as they're playing, it would be now. Torowo, trying to keep it clean, but having no back-to-back, so Summer is really shining. As I say that Torowo is building their back-to-back up, and an insane spin sequence tops out Summer. Extremely well played to both players, but Torowo, seed free, wins Radiant 139. I would say this is one of the more stacked Radiants in recent memory. Congrats to everyone who got TWC points, and speaking of TWC points, this is Galactic Champion League promo. If you want to get TWC points, this is the perfect time because it is a platinum event. And there is plenty of trophies and cash prizing that top finishers can get. If you do want to register, registrations close, I believe, next week, so you do want to register as quickly as you can. And Hummingbird Nest is running their first LAN tournament, I believe, with Full Tilt. And I've also heard that it's free entry, so all you have to do is turn up and you are able to play for more TWC points. If you can make it to Manila, this is a very good opportunity to play. And yeah, I think that's it for Radiant 139. Thank you for letting me come this whole tournament. Who shall we raid? Alright, it looks like we are raiding Tetrium. Hope that you guys enjoyed the tournament and stick around for the raid if you want to earn more TWC points. Just kidding, you're just gonna get channel points. Imagine if joining like Twitch raid gave you TWC points.